Hello and welcome future CPAs. My name is Madeline Cheesum. I'm a product marketing manager for our accounting and finance vertical here at UWorld, and just want to welcome you all and know that this transition from the Wiley efficient learning platform to UWorld has been challenging, and we just hope to clear some of that up today. And before I pass this on to my colleagues here, I just wanted to give a little housekeeping. First of all, Rachel, who is one of our other product marketing managers, her and I will be in the background for the majority of the time answering questions in the platform. It's under the area that says questions. That's where we'll be answering you. And note that if you raise your hand, I know that that functionality is there, but we most likely will not see it. So please pose all your questions in the questions area. We'll answer them within the platform, and then at the very end, we can answer some questions live if they pertain to the greater audience. And now I'd like to pass along the baton to my colleagues, Quinn and Rachel here.
Thank you, Mad, and thank you guys so much for joining tonight and joining the CPA journey. My name is Quinn Perkson. I'm the Director of Firm Partnerships for UWorld, and I'm really excited to bring you through essentially what is a modified version of our regular onboarding for new UWorld candidates. So today, and I really just appreciate your journey and pathway. As you know, in just corporate America, this is part of what happens. But we really are excited to answer your questions, convey as much support and guidance as we can, as well as some best practices, so that you can get everything, all the benefits of this program as efficiently as possible, and that you can be successful on your CPA journey. So thank you.
Awesome. And I will say hi very briefly as well. My name is Rachel Karash. I'm another product marketer on the UWorld team. I actually came over from Wiley, so I'm hopping over with you guys as well. So.
All right, I'm going to hide myself and let's get into the PowerPoint deck. Are you guys all able to see the screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, whoa, look at that. I'm clicking all over the place. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to cover. Anyway, you met part of the UWorld team. We're going to take your questions. I'm also going to be available to take any lingering questions, and my contact information will be made available to you on the last slide. We really want to make sure that you just know that we care. Any issues that are pending or that we may have to address, you'll be able to contact me and I'll follow up with you personally. We're going to talk about how to access your course. Rachel's going to walk you through that. And then once we transition, we're going to go into the UWorld platform and course, showing you the log on, and then really kind of a behind the scenes, how the course is set up, the best way to use it, and some of the most likely transfer questions that you're likely to have. And from there, where can you go to get support and ask questions? So again, you've got questions, please feel free to put them into the platform. We're going to be happy to respond. And from here, let's get going. So, as you know, Roger CPA Review started out in the industry almost a decade ago. And since that time, we have acquired, starting last March, Wiley Efficient Learning, and then this summer brought over Peter Lento, of which you're going to see the benefit of this of these moves in the program. So we're really happy to have a nice footprint of both the CPA, CMA, CIA, CFA, and CMT offered by UWorld. But at the end of the day, we think that you're going to benefit and hopefully really enjoy this experience of preparing for your CPA. Traditionally, on the previous version of the exam, we've been able to support an efficient learning path at a very high success rate. So for first-time test takers, our pass rate has been 94%. We'll show you how that is possible, as well as being able to navigate and succeed at a rate of 3 times faster than traditional candidates. We essentially allow you to focus in on the areas where you need to get up to test readiness, and allow you to bypass those where you are test ready. So that's a little bit about UWorld. Let's talk about how to access your UWorld course. And from this side, yeah, Rachel, why don't you take it away?
Sure. So you guys can all hear me, right?
Yep, sound good.
Perfect. Okay, so before we dive into the platform, I'd like to very briefly cover some details regarding how to access your course after coming over from Wiley. Essentially, if you currently have an active Wiley Efficient Learning CPA review product, you should now have access to the UWorld 2024 version of your course. You're good, Quinn. Stay there on the
Okay.
course.
Thanks.
There are a few different packages candidates have been moved to. And if you have a Wiley course with unlimited access until you pass, you should have now received the UWorld CPA Elite Unlimited course. So would you mind hopping back, Quinn? I'm sorry.
You told me that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So as you can see on this slide, a lot of the features and benefits actually align with what you've already experienced on Efficient Learning. But we have some other really exciting tools as well, including video lectures from the very famous, very fun Peter Linto. So moving forward, I know I went through that really quickly. We have received some questions about which packages candidates have been migrated to and why. So to take a minute here, this slide actually shows how each Wiley package translates to the 2024 UWorld products. And we'll be sharing this recording, as Matt said, so you can take another look at this slide if you have any further questions. But essentially, customers with unlimited access policies from Efficient Learning have been moved to the corresponding Elite Unlimited course at UWorld, while the few folks who have CPA Gold got what we call at UWorld the Premier course access. Meanwhile, single section users receive the updated versions of those single sections. A quick note here, so if you had BEC at Wiley and would actually like a different discipline other than bar, I know that's come up a few times, please contact UWorld customer service and we will share that contact information at the end of the session and we can help you get sorted. The primary differences between Elite Unlimited and Premier really boil down to 3 key features, which this will kind of help you make sure you have access to the right courses. So first is unlimited access versus 18 months of access. So it's that access period to your materials online. The Elite Unlimited has live CPA boot camps, whereas the Premier does not. And then the Elite Unlimited also has the cram course for final review, which will look pretty similarly to the old 11th hour materials that you're familiar with versus no cram course component. So that's generally an overview of how we've moved people over to the UWorld platform and why. And I'm happy to answer some more questions towards the end of the session on this if you've got them. But Quinn, if you want to hop over to the next one.
All right.
Awesome. So I know there are probably a few folks on this call who have not actually logged into the UWorld platform yet. So if you have not done so, transitioning your account information from Efficient Learning to UWorld is thankfully a pretty simple process nowadays. So all you really have to do is visit efficientlearning.com as usual, click your login button as you normally would in the upper right-hand corner. Then on the login page, you got to follow some steps to reset your password. Once that is done, you can log into the UWorld platform via uworld.com. But when you do so, the key thing here is to make sure you're using your Wiley credentials with that new password. Doing so will ensure you get the course access you need right away with no purchase necessary. So you could hop right over to the UWorld course and start studying immediately. And from your unique account page, you will have access to both your Efficient Learning and UWorld courses. But we highly, highly, highly recommend you start studying with the UWorld version now if you haven't already, as the Efficient Learning platform is going to be decommissioned on April 30th of this year, 2024. So please, we're encouraging you to hop right into the UWorld platform and really get familiar with the tools and materials that will help you do your best on exam day. But if you have any questions at all on the package mappings or how the login process works, please write those questions in that question section of the webinar platform, and I'll try to help you out. So over to you for the demo, Quinn.
Right, let's go. So welcome to UWorld. This is basically, we're going to go through the login experience. And let me just hide this toolbar here. And you'll just come over to the far right and be able to select a login. You'll use your credentials and be able to sign in. And I've got a number of the UWorld tests in here. We're going to focus in on the CPA today. And I'm going to just start off with FAR. So let's jump into FAR. And welcome to the study planner, okay? So I have currently set up my study planner. This is showing me an overall dashboard of my performance in the entire course. This is somewhat helpful. What is really helpful is being able to align your study plan to the realities of your work and school situation, school, work, home, whatever the balance may be. And what we're able to do here, let's see, I'm trying to move my little toolbar, control panel, come on, control panel. And what I'm able to do over here is edit my plan on any point that I'd like. So if I want to come in and take a look at my plan, I can have a weekly view, a daily view, which is really helpful. So if I got to see exactly where I need to be on March 1st, this is the assignments that are set up for me, or I can share a monthly view. What I really like about this and what I want to share with you is if you come over here to the right to these three dots, you've got the ability to edit this on the fly. And what you'll see are first a setup where you can decide when you're going to be studying, and then your test date. So I've set this for the second kind of quarter here in the summertime. And then I have gone through and I've selected the customize. Now I would recommend the customize, especially for the new exams. And then you can see down here, I can literally detail on every day how many hours I'm going to be available to study. Now, given the time of year where we are right now, this is going to be minimized. But as we get through the end of busy season, I can increase my hours. And once I do that, I can just hit adjust plan, and it's going to readjust my plan. If you're in an area that you have just recently finished in your MAC program, for example, you may want to consider the fast track program. That's going to reduce your hours and really focus in on the Q bank. But for the most premier offering and the active learning through the multiple and diverse offerings that we have, we definitely recommend the customize option. And you'll see that for FAR, we're benchmarking this at right around 211 hours. Now that's the longest that it would be. So I'm going to adjust my plan. And now just like that, it's ready to go on the fly. Now, normally when I would come in, I would just be working my plan. But I just kind of want to take you through everything here from the beginning. So let's start off with the lectures. And I'm going to start off in the full course. And from the full course and every single section that we're in, you're going to find an orientation, okay? It's a specific video or introduction or flash-based introduction that's going to walk you through how to best utilize the videos or the lectures, how to best utilize the flashcards. Every single section, and I'll point these out to you, will be featured here. You can also include your test date when you complete your NTS. You can update that with the NTS, and you can also pivot to any other sections if you'd like. So not really relevant when you're kind of studying for one exam. Let's go into one of the videos. I'll just start off here. Let's just take a quick look at how this is set up. Okay, statement of changes in equity.
know that with the expected changes in equity. What we want to know is why did equity change?
Okay, now I'm just going to mute Pete. Try to mute Pete. There we go. Okay, now what you're going to find with the videos is a 1-to-1 ratio between this and the ebook, which is featured over on the right. The videos have now been chunked right using the old Netflix formula. So these are typically under 25 minutes, right around the 17 to 18 minute period is where they are. So they're easily digestible as far as being able to hold on to your short-term memory and get through them. And then everything that the lecturer is going to talk about here, you're going to see represented over in this ebook. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the tried and true features of note-taking and highlighting, which you can certainly do in the ebook. The other thing that I want to call out to you specifically is, especially with the new exams, you want to know exactly how you're going to be assessed on those. And that's featured here in these representative tasks. The representative tasks are literally the AICPA blueprints lifted from the AICPA and integrated into the lectures, the assessments, and the ebook. So anytime you see this check mark, it's telling you very specifically what you're going to be asked to do. So in this case, prepare a statement of changes of supporting documentation. And it's also highlighting for you in parentheses the level of the question. So since this is an application question, this is, and you can see Pete's talking about this right here over here. An application question is most likely going to be a multiple choice, whereas an analysis question could lean towards being a task-based simulation. So ebook is presented here. You can basically modify this, make it smaller, make it larger, whatever you'd like to do so it's most comfortable. I'll just share with you a couple tips that people that have recently passed with UWorld have shared with me. They really tell me that they enjoy the lectures. And they tell me they also use the lectures on the app. So they download the app and they'll listen to them as a podcast. So one of my folks that just passed told me that areas that were challenging for him, he would listen to repeatedly driving to work. And if it was really challenging, he would listen to the lecture again before he went to sleep. So if that works for him, maybe it'll work for you. But this is basically what we have set up here for the lectures and the ebook. At the end of this lecture experience, you'll get an automatic quiz that'll pop up. This is typically around 12 to, 18 questions typically on what the lecture material was. So a nice little pop quiz to cover you right there. Okay. Style-wise, if you want to speed it up, slow it down, you can do that through the settings. But that is the lecture into the ebook. Hopefully you also, for those of you that have made the transition, have your physical books as well. That is part of the program, and we're excited for this feature to be delivered to you. Okay, so from the ebooks, we want to get into the QBank, right? So let's take a look at creating the test. Again, over here, how to best use your course, how to create a test tutorial. It's all right here, page by page. We're going to start off here on the practice tab. And from the practice tab, we're going to keep the tutor button on. Okay, this is going to provide the answer responses, and we're going to keep the timer on. This is, again, an option. So if you don't want to condition yourself and just kind of go through on your own pace, of course, you can turn the timer off. I always like to recommend it. And you're going to find with the UWorld system that we are very big into practicing how you're going to be assessed. So let's continue that theme as we look at the other QBank elements. You'll see multiple choice on the right, task-based simulations on the right. Oh, I misspoke there. Multiple choice on the left there. Look at that, 1,900 questions. Heaven help you if you need 1,900 questions. I don't think you will, and I'll explain why. Task-based simulations on the right. Remember, we always start off with the multiple choice questions. We don't need to simulate until we're really crushing these multiple choice and we're feeling good and we're seeing our scores right, at test readiness, and then we'll integrate the task-based simulations. Here you can see our question sources, so it's almost a 50-50 split between UWorld generated questions and those from the AICPA. And then we're going to come down here and we'll see our topics. Now, if notice this little plus, and this will become important later, especially as you're starting to get really closer towards the exam and you're finalizing the areas where you need more practice. But this will allow you to pick a subtopic within this general area. So just for now, I'm going to pick this second chapter with these topics, and I am going to practice just like I'm going to be assessed. So on the FAR exam, you're going to get two test modules of 25 multiple choice. That's how I want to assess myself. So I'm going to try to put 25 in there. Come on now. Let's try this again. 25. There we go. Now, why am I doing 25? Because again, I want to be conditioned to the amount of time that it takes and start to set my internal testing clock to be aligned to how the exam is going to be presented to me. So I've set it for 25. I've set the timer on. That's what we've got going. Change the format. Why? You guys know if you've gone through one of the exams, this is basically the user interface for the Prometric Testing Center. This is pretty much the same exact thing with the addition of notes, notebook, and flashcards. You get it, active learning pieces that we can integrate. We've got our question. We know with our questions, we always want to read them at least twice. If we're prone to jumping ahead on formulas, I'm going to encourage you to read them backwards because sometimes they give us misleading information. It's not to the last sentence or phrase that we actually understand exactly what we're going to do. We're going to arbitrarily pick B, and we get our answer response. And for those of you that are entirely new to UWorld, this is just a hallmark feature for us. So first, I want to note that you're able to see your time for the multiple choice questions. You know, you want to be right around 70 seconds, and you want to start to condition yourself to answer the questions right around 70 seconds. And then from there, we get this great illustration, explanation, followed by key terms, and these are available as flashcards, and then a delineation of key things to remember. Now, in the case over here on the left again, I'm sorry, I skipped the key feature. You could see not only which one was right, A, but you can see in my choice, B, and the others, how wrong am I? Okay, so 28% of people in the program also selected B. Well, that makes me feel a little better that the wheels are somewhat on the tracks as opposed to the 0% or 3%. So as you're going through this and you're trying to calibrate your learning, when you don't get it right, that's a great opportunity to then figure out, okay, how far off am I? Okay, and this percent over here on the left is going to help you do that. This answer explanation over here on the right is going to further reinforce that. In the case where you really, need to calibrate to the right answer, you still don't get it from the answer explanation, there's a couple additional things that you can do. So the first one is at the bottom, you'll find a link right back to the specific lecture, okay? So this isn't the entire lecture, this is a segment of the lecture just talking about this topic. You can also see down here, here's that representative task, okay? And the fact that we're at the application level. So there's full alignment between what is on this new exam, what is being covered in the lectures in the book, and then what is being assessed and what you're practicing on here. Okay, let's go on to another question. I'm gonna just arbitrarily pick C, and oh my gosh, can you believe it? I'm playing the lottery tonight. Here we go, I got it right. But let's just say, for example, I did not. Another thing that I just want to encourage you to do, well, let's go through here and see if I can guess incorrectly. Sure I can. There we go. Okay, look, woo, 4%, way off, right? So especially in cases like this where it's way off, right? You're going to go through, you're going to, go through the answer explanation, but I'm also going to recommend that you do something additional, okay? And that can be as easy as watching the lecture, or in this case, if I basically want to say, I think this term and this explanation is really helpful, and I'm going to just click on this little lightning symbol, and I literally have just created my own flashcard. So I can do these on the fly. They're as simple as click and point. I'm going to save this. We'll go take a look at it. But doing the, whether it's putting it into a note or into a notebook or, creating your own flashcard, something additional, especially in the cases where you did not get it right, is really important, because it's going to help us retrieve that information from our, and move it from the short-term memory into the long-term memory, which is exactly what we need to do on a high stakes exam like this. So here, just another example. So anyway, this gives you, I think, hopefully a good, clear, concise example of how the system works. And then from here, I'm going to go over and just submit my testlet. It's going to say, are you sure you want to do that? I'm going to say yes. And here we can see the review. Now, we're always able to go back and review any of the answers that we didn't get right. I can just click on that. It's going to bring me back to that specific answer and question. And I can also show you everything that you're doing in the program now reports into this hallmark feature for UWorld. So I really hope that you find this to be as wonderful and beneficial to you in your path as it is to many that have used UWorld. Welcome to the Smart Path. The Smart Path is showing you a couple different things here. On the left, you are seeing your score on each of the areas. So we were just in this section 2, government purpose funding reporting. And on the left, you're seeing my score. So I'm right around 28%, not so swell. And you can see these targets, this target of 80%, 77%, 86%. In cases where it is 80, this represents a new content area, okay? So we've benchmarked it at 80%. And the other areas, like this one, 77% or 86%, this is the real data used by people that have passed the previous version of the exam where this content was used on their first attempt in our system. So they averaged 86% for state and local, okay? That's the score. Over here on the right, you're seeing the benchmark targets established by people that used our system in previous versions that passed the first time. And you can see on this first section how many questions they took. So here it's 189, it's the benchmark. So they didn't take all 373 questions, they just did 189. The second area, they didn't do 167 questions, they just selected 93. So this is where you've got the opportunity to see which areas you're really good at and which areas need additional time. And this allows you to accelerate through those areas that you're crushing, essentially. The more work you do, over here on the right, you've got a little piece of adaptive technology that's going to align you to that sweet spot of the right amount of questions matched with the best score, okay? And if you're on track, it's going to continue to say, hey, you're doing great. Continue watching the lectures and doing the quizzes. If you're getting off track and your score's falling down, it's going to basically say, please go review the lectures. And as you get closer and closer to meeting your targets, these this circle pie chart will fill out, and it will turn either green, test ready, yellow, you're close, or red, you're not test ready. Now, in the case, ladies and gentlemen, where you can turn these targets and these pieces of pie over here for each section over to green, in the previous version of the exam, you would have had a 94% chance of passing. So my best advice to you is to basically come up with a consistent study program, adapt it as your work and life kind of maneuvers on, but please, by all means, achieve your Smart Path targets and get test ready. That will give you a completely different sense of the statistics are on your side. You are prepared. You have done enough of the exercises at the right level to go in there and crush that exam. So that's what we want to recommend to you. And I'll just take a breath here, see if there's any questions. Try to settle my dog down. I apologize for that. And that's the Smart Path. Okay, so from the Smart Path, let's go back up and then take a look at some of the other features that we have. One of the things that I wanted to show you is if we can go into and take a look at the flashcards. So one of the things that we've created, if we go into my deck, we can see there's my pledge, my little pledge card that I did. And I go to the back, there's the explanation that I thought was helpful. And then from here, I can also score this. So a lot of folks really like this. So I'm able to go through, and if this was easy for me, I'd mark it green. This was not easy for me. Remember, I got 4% guess, so I'm going to score this red. Okay. And then from there, I've got it scored and I'm good to go. The next thing that I want to show you is, I'll bring this down to the ready deck. So this is the pre-populated decks. These are the bolded terms in the answer explanations and also in the ebook. All right. And same thing that we saw before. You can see I've already kind of scored this one yellow. There's my answer response. But as your and here's your how to use the flashcard section, you know, the piece that walks you through every single section, how to do it. Couple cool features here. The first one starts off with, you can search the flashcards by either the particular chapter that we were reviewing. So in this case, it'd be this one right there. Okay, we can apply that, or we can search it by category. So if we want to say, all right, look, I just want to see all the ones that were hard for me. If they were easy for me now, they're probably going to be easy for me in the future. Let me just focus in on the yellow, blue, and red ones and bring those up. And then those cards are going to be found and queued up for me. The other thing that I really want to encourage you to do is calibrate the cards. And this is a great feature to include on your mobile app to the amount of time that you want to study and review. So if you click on the study button and then come over here to, this was the chapter we're working on, general purpose, financial reporting, non-governmental. I'm going to come over to actions and I can tell the system how many cards would I like to see a day. So busy season right now, I'm going to say 15 to 20. All right, that's about it. And then I'm going to say cards that are easy for me, just bring those back up every 8 or 9 days. Otherwise, keep them showing in a random order, bring in hard ones every new day, and I can apply that, and that's what's going to be queued up for me. So I can manage my time in the amount of cards I'm seeing based upon my study plan and my availability. My notes would be featured in the notes section, and I'm trying to think of what else we want to touch on here. Okay. So one of the features that we're really happy to share with you, and I know that you probably enjoyed this on the Wiley side, is the live, the sections of live instruction. We've got them all set up for you here. This is a chance for you to basically have a live tutoring session on FAR that you can ask questions in real time. You've got a chance to RSVP for these individually or all collectively like I've done. And then you'll get announcements and you'll have a working live session that'll be archived for you for further review, in this case from Peter Alento. So what could be better than that? You want to come to the session prepared to ask questions, ready to dig into the most typical and harder level questions that are going to be asked on the exam. And this is where you've got direct exposure to our subject matter experts. So that's the new events section. Okay, so we're working our smart path. You know, we're feeling good about progressing. We're basically going back and incorporating questions that we've mastered from the previous sections every 2 weeks or so to make sure that we're staying fresh on those, and we're crushing the smart path. Okay, so as we start to kind of get closer towards our test exam date, one of the things that I want to show you is the reports. So we took a look at our score off of the initial exam, but these reports can be really helpful in trying to identify the specific areas of your smart path where you need to focus in on. So in this case, I might, select, you can see the total usage, the amount correct. So, adjusting financial statements, not so swell for me. Preparing financial statements, not so swell for me. And when I'm regenerating the areas that I need to close out my smart path, this can be really helpful. Same thing with topics. Just remember, you've got these pluses to kind of get into not just the general chapter, but the sub-chapters underneath each area. Okay, so that's a little bit about the performance. Now this starts to accumulate into one of the other great testing features that we have. So, and I'll just show you a quick example here if you wanted to take the time off and the tutor section, just what this would look like. So you could just get a sense. not particularly a big fan of this, but let's just take a look at it. Okay, so here we're going to move on. Question 2, no answer, response, no timer. And then we'll submit our test and we'll see our score. So not so swell, 1 out of 3, 33%. Okay, all this again will feed back into our Smart Path as we're continuing to kind of achieve and we're hitting most of our Smart Path goals. It's going to be time to go in and schedule time for the exam sim. Okay, this is an opportunity for you to go in and actually take the exam, our practice version of the exam, exactly how it's presented. 2 testlets of 25 multiple choice questions, 3 testlets of task-based simulations, totaling 7 with a 4-hour time limit. Okay, I'm going to encourage you as a best practice to take this at least twice. You want to be doing this. You want to basically kind of be through all new content at least 10 days before your exam. You want to give yourself the chance to be, to review the 4-hour practice exam sim at least twice so that your body and mind is conditioned to be being focused and being prepared for 4 hours testing segment. This is just not an exam, hour 3, hour 3.5, hour 2, where you can be fidgeting or unfocused and make a silly mistake and get one wrong. And the exam sim is designed to help you do that. So you can go through that, take that as many times as you'd like, at least twice, 3 times is even better. Gives you a chance to go through and create specific practice tests on the areas where you need help. And then from there, the final week and days up to it, going to recommend you come over to the CRAM course. Very similar to the 11th hour. We're featuring lectures here, micro lectures. This one happens to be 13 minutes, no questions at this point, okay? So we're leaving the questions behind. We just want to make sure that we've got complete mastery and we're comfortable with all the key terms that are likely to come up and we're not surprised. And this is a quick and easy way for us to efficiently go through and review those topics and start to kind of unload our minds a little bit with no exercises at that point. And then from there, ladies and gentlemen, you should be good to go. So my biggest takeaways are, please take a little bit of time to get comfortable with this dashboard and setting up your study plan. It can make it really easy with a little bit of work to just, like going to the gym, have a regular routine that's going to have you conditioned and ready to go. The closer that you can study to 4-hour blocks when that is allowed in your schedule, the better. From there, set up the Q bank in the same way and your quizzes the same way that you're going to be tested on. So doing blocks of 25 if it's multiple choice, or blocks of 3 if it's a task-based simulation. And from there, spend time working and calibrating and working smartly on your Smart Path. This is the key that's going to not only have you test ready, but also allow you to accelerate through those areas that you're really proficient on. And from there, definitely come in and participate in the live events. And if you have any questions along the way, we are here to support you in any way that we can. We wish you all the best of success. I think I'm going to just kind of pause now, see if we have any questions, and take it from there.
Thanks, Quinn. And yeah, we've got questions. Lots of questions coming in here. Let me pull up my screen real fast. Hi. Okay. And Rachel and I can also chime in as well. So one question, Quinn, actually, while you're still in the format, somebody asked, how do you deselect, or can you deselect flashcards from the study plan? Is that a possibility?
Oh, yeah, great question. Love it. Sure, let's go take a look. So here, I think maybe dashboard.
Quinn, you're breaking up a little bit too right now.
All right. Maybe if I hide myself. Okay, there we go. Great question. Love that. So hopefully this will be an easy way to show it. So whatever the asset is, if you come over to it, I'm just going to come up to one that I've missed on it, one of my February 11th. This happens to be a practice quiz, but if it was a flashcard or anything else. I can just mark it as complete. Okay, so that's probably the quickest, easiest way. So if you see them come up on your daily plan and you're like, yep, no thanks, already got that, just mark it as complete. Hopefully that addresses the question.
Great, thank you. And I have another one for you, a good one. Can a person with no prior knowledge pass the CPA exam by attending the live courses only?
Ooh, geez. I mean, that's a high risk taker in my book. I don't think so. I think the live courses are specifically targeted towards the more robust and the analytic task-based simulations. But so it's kind of they're focused. They're not going to be covering all of the modules. You'll see that each one of them has a specific topic that it's covering. So that's the focus and intent of what is happening there. But as we know, time management and test taking strategies, in addition with knowing the content, is a huge part of why people succeed and why they don't on the CPA exam. So I think I don't want to say no. I'm sure that it might be possible, but why risk it? And if you've got all these tools to basically track you statistically over hundreds of thousands of people that have passed, why not get the full benefit of the program? So I would say possible, but not the intent or the way that this program is set up to be fully utilized.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Utilize all the tools available to you.
Well,
all right.
You'll feel differently when you hit these targets and you know statistically you're set to succeed. That's a different feeling, ladies and gentlemen, when you're in that Prometric testing center than wondering, am I ready? Did I do enough questions? Did I watch enough videos or go to enough live sessions? So just, anyway, it's the single best hallmark of success that we can set for you is in the SMART path. Great question though.
Great. Okay. Now this one is coming up a lot in a lot of different variations. So a lot of you had a question related to this. I think the one that I'm going to read out loud summarizes the overall concern. I had the unlimited access till I passed with Wiley. I renewed my access each year by sending an email. In UWorld, it shows an expiration date. How will I renew my access till I pass?
My understanding is the same way. So if you're in a case where it's giving you a countdown, heaven forbid whenever that time is, you should simply just let customer support know, and they should extend it. It's more of a condition of, I think, how the courses were set up and transferred, not that you're not set up for unlimited use or until you pass. So we've had a variety of customers in that particular boat, and it's all been solved by just contacting customer support, letting them know I'm continuing my journey, I'm active,
Right. And now there are some cases where candidates are being asked to submit their NTS. Why are we requiring people to do that?
Well, it shows that you're ready to use the program, I guess. But philosophically, I guess I'm pretty sympathetic to, you may want to start your testing journey before you actually in your prep before you actually schedule the NTS. So that's something that I would need to kind of follow up and get a little bit more information on. That I wasn't familiar with that was a policy requirement.
Yeah, there is I can chime in a little bit here though. Overall, everyone here, what Quinn said is that we do want to make sure that you are a candidate in the process. Obviously, having unlimited access forever and ever and ever without having to show that you are someone in the process could lead to, well, I know you're all not going to do it, but some people could share and we don't want them to do that. And so there's like other things that could be happening that we want to, for privacy and protection, copyright protection, just make sure that you are actively in the process of aiming for CPA. Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We had another question. How do I access my UWorld course materials on my phone? Do I have to download a new app outside of the Wiley app?
Yes. Yep. You just go in there, get the UWorld accounting and finance tab, and you know whatever your provider is, and you should be able to download the app very quickly and easily.
Yep. And we can share that link. It's also in the footer of every single one of our emails. So if you got the email to sign up for this, you have access to the app, both in Apple and Android. All right, what do I do if I do not see the boot camps in my Elite Unlimited course?
Whoa. Let customer service know. They should be able to add it for you.
Yeah.
And actually, I can tell you one of my demo courses, I actually had that happen, and it was able to get added 15. I think it was like within 5 minutes of me notifying them that that was the case.
Yeah, it's a brand new feature. Pretty much everyone's had no trouble accessing it, but there's a few cases where this has come up. So please contact us.
Yeah, do it sooner rather than later because they're coming up. And when's our first one? It's
They already started. They started earlier this week. So we are rocking and rolling. All right, test questions in UWorld are consolidated by section. Each section includes multiple videos from 2 to 14 videos per section. Is there a way to run test questions after watching 1 or 2 videos? I can't remember information from all 14 videos unless I practice it by answering test questions.
Start that one again from the beginning. I want to make sure.
It was a long one. Why don't we show how to answer questions related? I guess it's the question is based on how do I test on what I just watched specifically?
Oh, what comes up after every lecture that you just watched? There is a, hold on, see if I can cue it up here. You did. So I'm just going to let it play off, but just as this video is concluding, you should automatically have a quiz. There you go. Just populate just like that. Mm-hmm. So if you want to be assessed on the lecture just right then and there, that's exactly what this is designed to do.
Great.
Does that cover the entirety of the question?
I would think so.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm just making sure because I'm answering questions and I know they're still coming in. All right, this webinar is for you. Go ahead, Rachel.
I'm answering a few in writing as well while we're going through.
Okay, thank you. Let me know if any others come in that we want to address live.
Sure.
Thanks. All right, this webinar is for users who see UWorld for the first time. What can you recommend for those frustrated users who are trying to study with UWorld for 2 months? Any tips or words of hope about missing features, instructors' help? So this is a big one. A lot of people are asking about there was a feature with the Wiley Efficient Learning platform that had instructors help and tests for each and every bite-sized lesson. So basically, we know change is hard. There's going to be some features that are not going to be apples to apples, but in this particular case, this user is asking, what can you do to help me?
I'm glad that question came up, and I'm really sympathetic because you're talking about some of the hallmark features of the Wiley program. I think how those would calibrate in a general way would be, and we've shown them here briefly, but for the lectures, first of all, you've got these bite-sized quizzes that come after that are corresponding with every lecture. So that's kind of like your micro topics, okay, set up there. you know, it's not the same thing, and you probably don't want me to back into this, but I think some type of combination between the deep dive of the events matched with the benchmarking of the smart path really would be, I I think, get you to a similar outcome. They may not make you feel the same way or have the same type of learning experience that you did before. I recognize that, but I think at the end of the day, if those bite-sized quizzes and micro lectures were able to be assessed, you've got those with the lectures pre-built for you. You can always do those on a per kind of sub-chapter here. So if you just wanted to select one of the areas, you could do that. And then ultimately, you're getting your deeper dive, so kind of that, you know, instructor experience, but probably in a much deeper 2 to 3 hour experience in the events section. And then again, all of it culminates in the smart path for UWorld. So I think those would be the tools that we have. And I recognize that may seem a little bit like maybe not apples, you know, maybe not apples to oranges. And I just want to express gratitude for the question and a little bit of understanding and how we got there. So.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then the other feature that you went through earlier, Quinn, was the answer explanations. We do have these experts, and a lot of them came from Wiley, actually, with the acquisition themselves, and they are just, each question was given a level of TLC that you will not see in any other program, a full learning experience that's called, why we call it active learning, because you are getting access to that very specifically designed answer explanation that's supposed to summarize everything right there at the moment of interacting and answering that question. All right. This is actually related to back to the app question. Will I continue to have access to the Wiley app after April 30th?
I wouldn't think so.
Right. I'm not sure.
This question is also in relation to the general platform. So the answer here is no. After April 30th, the efficient learning platform as well as the app are being decommissioned. So if you have notes within your course, or you want to print your Wiley study guides, or any of that customizable material that you'd like to save, please be mindful of that April 30th date and do so before the cutoff. And again, I understand that this is frustrating, but we have so many awesome note-taking features and so on in the UWorld platform. And if I see a lot of questions about printing the e-textbooks from the UWorld platform, that is not a capability, but we offer discounts within your My Account page for the print study guides if you would like them.
And they get the physical book as well, right?
Yes, that's correct.
All righty. Okay, I only see the Wiley dashboard when I log on. How do I get to the UWorld dashboard?
So to answer that question, that's where that log into Efficient Learning and reset your password and then go to UWorld process comes in, which was covered on that slide. But if you do have problems with that process, please do reach out to customer care, and they should be able to walk you through, including with screen sharing and all that good stuff. So, but essentially all you'll have to do is log into Efficient Learning. Go to Efficient Learning, the login page, enter your email address associated with your account, follow the process to reset your password, and then once that password is reset, go to uworld.com and log in with those existing credentials, and you should have access to the UWorld version of your course as well as the Efficient Learning version. So if you see the UWorld version and not efficient learning, or the opposite, where you're only seeing efficient learning and not the UWorld version, that's where you need to contact customer care. And on one of the later slides, actually in our deck for this presentation, we have customer care information. I'm scrolling through some more questions as well.
I see another one that just came in. I have both unlimited until you pass for both Wiley and UWorld before the merger. With the merger, I will only have access to UWorld after April 30th. Is this not a short change to me? I really want to continue to have access to Wiley videos since I paid for it. I need to have someone to talk to on this issue. And again, we definitely understand the concern, but another concern is that at some point, those videos, and actually that point has happened now, in that a lot of the information that's in there is now out of date. And we want to make sure that you have access to the most up-to-date information, up-to-date and accurate information. And that is what you're using to study for your exams. And so at some point, it is really important for operational reasons, but also that reason more than anything, that we do have to put an end to the Wiley product and transition everyone over to the UWorld product so that we can ensure you're studying with the correct materials.
Well, you'll also have the benefit of seeing some of those lectures in the UWorld program, but I would not risk, especially given the realignment of the content and the new content that's been added, focusing in on anything other than what was aligned to the new content. I just, this was a complete rebuild that used both the Wiley and the UWorld subject matter experts teams to bring you this version. And the changes were very considerable as opposed to what has happened in the previous decade. So that sounds like a little bit of a risky behavior to me, as far as just being completely test ready.
Definitely agree. All right, Rachel, is there any other questions that you see that are for the greater audience here? And we can try, if there's any specific, we have your contact information connected to the questions that come in. We can try to follow up if there's any that look like it needs some special attention.
There are a few folks who want us to check out their access, which I've already requested their email addresses.
Okay, great.
And I have a feeling that we should write out some answers and send these as reminders as a follow-up, because there are so many recurring themes. So we will send out this recording and then a follow-up email as well with some of these answers.
And if you need, I'm available to you. There's my contact information. You know, please, if you've got additional questions, we welcome them, and we want to make sure that you're supported all the way through your transition to UWorld and your exam success on the CPA.
Yes, thank you, Quinn. Do you want to cover those two slides there, 10 and 11, really fast before we wrap up with information on the study group?
Yeah, you want to bring it home? I mean, this is, if you haven't signed up, I mean, I think a majority of you were notified and are participating here, but if you know others that aren't, this is a dedicated space solely for our customers. This is not a marketing, a sales environment. This is just a online community going through the CPA exam, all using this tool together. It's a great resource. Definitely recommend that if you know, if you can, you get one or two folks, get your community together in your work environment as well as an online environment. And this one is all aligned to the same assets. So you'll find it on Facebook. As a user, you're going to be approved to go in and enjoy the benefits of participating. Then customer support. So if you just have lingering questions, or you may in the future, take a picture of this, Make sure you've got it available. If you're not seeing the content or the full features, as some of you had asked, this is the perfect place to reach out and get that established. support@uworld.com.
Awesome. Great. And then I think you just got the wrap-up slide. I see some additional questions are coming in, but we'll address those in writing.
Yeah. I'm gonna pop on real fast. I know the connection was a little wonky, but I just wanted to thank you all for joining us this afternoon/evening, depending on where you are in the world. But thank you all, and just know that we are here to support you and want only the best for you on your journey.
All righty. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.